ahead and start. Okay, so this is take 2 of the Literary Society Ka podcast. Hello everyone, I'm Ali Sammo, and after a lot of troubles with the internet, after losing hope literally, we have with us Urooj Usmani, a long time friend. It's been 5-6 years, and Urooj is a third-year medical student and is here to talk to us about what it is like to work at the Corona isolation centers in Karachi, specifically at the Expo Center where Urooj works. And Urooj's going to take us through the journey of what it is like to be present there, to be especially as a woman in such a condition, right? Because that plays a very interesting role as well. So yeah, take us through that, Urooj.
Hi, Acha. So yeah, I'm a third year medical student, right? So I was just scrolling through Facebook and then I saw a link and it was like they were looking for volunteers, right? So I signed up. I was like, "Ghar mein hu, I'm not really doing anything," and I really wanted to because I was like feeling at the beginning of the quarantine, especially there was a huge amount of guilt, right? Yeah, like every time I would open a new episode or whatever, I would feel so much guilt. I can actually do this while there are so many people dying or whatever, right? So I signed up, and obviously I'm not really a doctor yet because I'm third year. So they were able to have me as an HCA, which is healthcare assistant. So one of the many jobs that we had, we were like, it's like, you know how हमारे desi culture में we have छोटू. So you are like a छोटू. You're doing actual important work. You're doing everything. मतलब आपका पाँव हर जगह होता है. Like we were working with nurses.
But you're still the छोटू.
We were working with nurses. Exactly. I mean, this is literally what it is. Because when you are a student, you're supposed to, like, आपको जो काम मिल रहा है, you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And then, how it started, experience है था कि I was working in the morning shift, right? There were 4 shifts. Achha, before anything, we had the Expo Center Karachi specifically. Obviously, I was working there as a volunteer, so I'll talk about that. They were not taking severe patients. Because the goal ये था कि शुरू में जब obviously we were anticipating कि peak होगी जैसे कि इस वक्त जून जुलाई में हो रही है and people are not finding beds anymore. तो goal ये था कि hospitals को overburden ना करें हम लोग, right? And people who are mild and moderate, which is majority people, वो लोग वहाँ quarantine कर सके who do not need like ventilators or whatever.
And right? How many beds does the Expo Center have?
So per hall there are 200 beds, so we were working with 3 halls, right? There are 3 halls, so 600 beds तो यही हो गए, right?
Okay.
So जब मैं गई थी तो only 1 hall was function, right? Main hall जो था वो almost filled था, तो we almost had like 100 plus patients at the time, 120 or 30, right? Approximately the first day I went there, right? तो अब हम गए, अब like you have to go there, like अब मेरी सुबह 6 बजे I have to like नीचे report करना, right? 6 से 12 की duty है morning shift की. So we have to be there at 5 because the donning, which is basically the wearing of all the scrubs and everything, that takes a while, especially first day. I'm upstairs. There's a whole procedure they've made. I won't take you through the whole lamba thing. But once you wear the goggles, right, you can't see anything because it's sweating so much.
And I'm sure.
When आप पहनते and it's blind because and
in Karachi की humidity, it's insane.
So when the first day I went, I was really mentally prepared कि मुझे सांस नहीं आएगी because you're supposed to wear N95. I was really mentally prepared for that. But I was not mentally prepared for that at all. Especially when मैं शुरू में काम करना शुरू की थी, तो I was not reading a lot of experiences online या वगैरह. अब मैं गई हूँ, like I can't see. I wore this. I'm like my doctor's name was जो senior doctor. He's like, I was like, Dr. Salan, I can't see anything, यार. He's like, ये तो होगा. I'm like, okay, well, that is helpful.
Straight that's up, helpful. ये तो होगा.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's very, very helpful. Exactly. And eventually we go down in our team, right? There is a whole protocol के मतलब यहाँ से वहाँ जाना है, lift से हम लोग नीचे जाते हैं in the red zone, right? They have made into 2-3 different zones. There's a green zone which is safe, वहाँ पे कोई patients नहीं है. We were in the red zone जहाँ पे सारे active patients हैं, right? अब मैं गई हूँ नीचे, तो जो रात की शिफ्ट थी, they have to over us, right? के notes हैं whatever, ताकि they can leave and हम लोग क्यों. अब जो रात की बंदी टीम की HCA थी, हेल्थकेयर असिस्टेंट, अब शी इज टेलिंग मी ये नोट्स हैं, ये जो हमारे पास इन्वेंट्री है उसमें जो ना कबर्ड में ये चीजें कम है, मैंने स्टार बना दिया है और तुम मंगवा लो. एंड आई एम लाइक, मुझे नजर नहीं आ रहा है, व्हाट डू यू मीन स्टार, आई कांट सी एनीथिंग. And she gave me the register, right? And obviously by क्योंकि वो night shift है, like by the end आपकी इतनी मतलब होती है कि बस आप जाना चाह रहे हो, तो she's like देख लेना, अल्लाह हाफिज. I'm like, okay, Urooj, don't panic, it's fine, कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा. Like the first day was really मतलब it was intense, right?
Yeah,
And
what
eventually
happens?
अब हाँ बट तो अब फर्स्ट डे था, जब हम लोग 6 बजे गए तो मोस्ट पेशेंट्स दे वर अस्लीप, मतलब फजर पढ़ के सो जाते हैं या सो रहे थे, व्हाटएवर द रीजन, राइट?
Yeah.
So we had to take vitals, like the morning shift have to take the vital, क्योंकि again we didn't have critical patients, so we didn't have to take the vitals like every 2 hours. But चूंकि मैं morning में थी तो for the day we had to do that, right? So we split our मतलब team में. तो अब पहला दिन था तो our doctor, we had one nurse and I was there with, and then we had 2 teams. So we had 2 kinds of patients. We had like a blue coat patients and white band. White band are the patients who बिल्कुल asymptomatic है, like you and me. They won't even have a cough or whatever. They were just diagnosed because घर में कोई हो गया था, या they were being precautious or whatever. And the blue coat were the patients जिनके कोई मतलब जिनके कोई साथ में disease है, like comorbidity बोलते हैं, तो they might have hypertension, diabetes, right? तो उनको extra care देते हैं. तो अब हमें vitals check करने, right? We go, my doctor tells me कि जो ना I have to record, she'll monitor everything, nurse will take the blood pressure वगैरह and vitals, and I'm like, okay, I can't see anything again. I'm like freaking out.
That's the main
I'm like, I
problem
can't see
here.
anything. Exactly. अब especially was first day, और अभी हम लोग गए, and again एक और issue ये था कि lights बंद है because patients सो रहे हैं, तो we don't want to light up the
Yeah. Oh
you know
my.
lights. अब issue था, but anyways my doctor is like, okay, you know what, you take the temperature and other things, I'll write because मुझे reach करना है, तो I'll just do it, और मुझे कुछ ना कुछ समझ आ जाएगा अपनी writing में. Acha, we go through it. It takes a while because we had like 130 patients, so we split it. But again, so for itne sare log, we had 7 people. So we had one doctor, one मतलब एक senior था, एक junior था, 2 HCAs like me. I had another DAO friend of mine, 2 nurses and 2 janitors. That is your whole team. अब janitor को भी कटा दो, so there's not many people who are working, so you have to do सब कुछ कुछ. And again, because PPE come hai, so they can't send that many people niche. You have to overwork. Here we go through it. It takes us a while. अब हमारी जो है ना already पाँव में दर्द हो गया because क्योंकि अब हम लोगों को उठा रहे, right? अच्छा, there were like only, जब मैं पहले दिन गई हूँ, we had like about 15 maybe females, थे बाकी predominantly, right? We're trying to wake them up, but like, you know, we're trying not to be inappropriate. We don't want to like, you know, touch them, or some of them are being हमसे weirded out हो रहे हैं. मतलब I don't mind, but like they're अगर वो उठे हुए, but here we manage. Some patients were like really non-cooperative. मतलब I legit remember मैं पहले दिन गई हूँ, बंदा मुझे बोलता है आपने मुझे चाय नहीं दिया, मैं नहीं चेक कराऊंगा, आप पहले चाय दो मुझे. Literally, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, bro, just help
But
me.
also,
Okay?
see, I just like to say कि हमारे दिमाग में there's this image ना कि हर कोरोना का पेशेंट बेचारा बस like लंगड़ा के, you know, like बेड पे पड़ा हुआ है. That's not how it is, right? In the isolation wards, I just saw a video someone posted about the Lahore wala isolation ward where they're playing cricket and everything, and I'm sure Expo Center में भी यही हो रहा होगा, right? Some like people are walking around and they're perfectly fine. It's just that they have this disease, right? They have this virus.
And they just have to isolate. And it's ulta mein, I feel like doctors se zyada to chill wo the na, because they are not in PPE. We are like, bro, because everything, especially with the gloves, because again jab start hua, because there's so much limitation with resources. So मैं पहले दिन गई हूँ ना, तो we were running out of क्या नाम है sanitizer. So they were like, obviously अब you can't sanitize. There are actively 100 plus patients जो COVID हैं. So they were like, we were wearing 3 layers of gloves just to make sure. उन्होंने कहा कि आप gloves बदलें. We don't have sanitizer, to wear gloves, और ऊपर वाला उतारते जाए every time you feel like there's a problem. ऊपर एक और चढ़ाए. So just because, so you are not breaching. Like to write with it, to type with it, you're sweating. It's the first day.
It's like you're an astronaut everywhere. That's how I imagine.
Exactly, it is like that, because you can't really, because जो bunny gown होता है, it's like a jumpsuit, right? So उसमें like you're a jumpsuit, and then आगे से भी we were wearing scrubs. तो वो क्या नाम है surgical gowns. So it was like literally it was like कि penguins चल रहे हैं, like waddle कर रहे हैं. That's what it looks like. Especially because I'm short, and I had a friend who was short like me, and I was like, oh God, I see you. This is what I look like. God,
Oh my.
So that happened.
But like, okay, so I think the way a virus is imagined is also really interesting here ना कि आप एक
Mm-hmm.
मरीज को मरीज बोल के भी मरीज बना देते हो, right? ये भी
That
मसला
was,
होता है ना.
yeah,
I don't know
okay, so
if you
that
face
was,
something like that.
no, that is a good point you bring it up, because what happened was that they were training us to, we were trained before we actually started working, right? So a part of our major, like HCA ki job ye thi, there were a lot of things we had to do, but one of them was to counsel the patients. So
Yeah.
ab counseling mein what happened was that we have patients coming from all over. To tell them, अब जब when they enter, if you have seen Expo Center जहाँ पे reception and all है, वहाँ पे हम लोगों ने tables लगाई हुई थी, and we would triage them. Triage में we would take their history, we would classify if they are severe or whatever. मतलब we'll just do the whole protocol. And वहाँ पे we'll give them all, मतलब we'll take away everything, and then we'll give them like a uniform and basic necessities like soap वगैरह.
Yeah.
तो during that part of the training में हमें ये बताया था कि we had to counsel them, because a lot of them would be scared. Obviously बात है, rightfully so, especially because media में and social media में there's a lot of misinformation, right?
Yeah.
So I remember that I had a lot of patients who were not from Karachi. So what happened was that in the middle of the week, I was sleeping, right? I get a call कि जल्दी आओ. We had like 50 patients रात में इकट्ठे आ गए, and we need to process them जल्दी से. रात वाले are very tired, right?
Okay.
एकदम से 50 patients आ गए. I'm like, oh God, I'm coming, right? अच्छा, we go there. What happened was कि तबलीगी जमात का कोई ग्रुप था जो कि इंडोनेशिया और ईरान के पेशेंट्स थे, उनको डायरेक्ट एरोप्लेन से उनको यहाँ लेकर आए थे, because they क्योंकि obviously they can't distribute, because तबलीगी जमात वाले people are from all over Pakistan या नॉन तबलीगी वाले भी. तो अब they're the people जो कराची से भी नहीं है, मतलब तो उनको काउंसिल करना was very important. तो मतलब I remember कि like एक बंदा मेरे पास आया after like settling in. उसने कहा ये कागज मुझे लिख के दो, मैं कहाँ हूँ, मैं अपने घर वालों को बताऊंगा ना. मतलब they didn't even know. मतलब from this basic thing, इतनी बेसिक सी चीज जो मेरे दिमाग में भी नहीं आएगी, to the extreme. कि I'll tell you one example of, as you were saying, कि mental illness का issue है. कि I had this one patient, right? he was a little bit critically ill, तो मतलब उसको हम monitor ज़्यादा कर रहे थे, right? उसकी heart beat थोड़ी सी मतलब fast हो रही थी. So he kept saying कि मुझे ना दिमाग का डॉक्टर लाके दो, मुझे बहुत जहनी दबाव हो रहा है, right? तो our senior doctor asked who will volunteer, right? अच्छा, we were so overworked कि मतलब मेरे पास एक वक्त में इतने काम हो रहे होते थे कि I was like, okay, I'll go. अच्छा, eventually I was like busy with other stuff. तो खैर eventually he comes to me, right, at the main table. मैंने कहा जी मैं हूँ. अच्छा, मैंने उनसे बात की. So he was from Thatta. अब he's around 50 to 60 के तो होंगे. So now you can imagine कि उनके अम्मी अब्बू तो और भी ज़्यादा बूढ़े होंगे, right?
Yeah,
so he was telling me कि तो 2 दिन लगे, right, till he got tested and got diagnosed. इतनी देर में, क्योंकि वो अपनी अम्मी के साथ रहते थे, अम्मी अब्बू, he was giving them insulin की shots every day. So everybody in his family got infected because of him, because he was working, right? तो उसके उनके mom, dad, उनकी wife, फिर उन्होंने अपने भाई और उनकी जो wife थी उनको बुलाया हुआ था till he was waiting for results, ताकि वो उनको medicines दे सकें. They're very old. So all of them got infected because of him, right? तो he मतलब उन्होंने मुझे literally बोला कि मुझे ना बहुत मतलब guilt हो रही है कि ना उनको मेरी वजह से हो गया. And he said कि मतलब मुझसे बिस्तर से उठा नहीं जा रहा, the typical symptoms of mental illness that you would. तो मतलब and I मतलब उनको ये हुआ कि मेरी बीवी is not here, she went to her मतलब her own mother's home, वहाँ पे वो self isolate हो रही है. Mother मतलब वो अपने ज़ाहिर parents की वजह से he was worried, they're even older, even he was in an older मतलब category. तो I had to like मतलब really मतलब मैंने उनसे मतलब I took him for a walk, as you were saying शुरू में ना. तो we had this garden area, if you have seen Expo ना, वहाँ पे grass वाला area है. So that was open for patients. They could go walk कर सकते हैं, मतलब it's open. You go मतलब आपने you wanna work out, you wanna sit there, whatever, right? So I took him out, we walked. I was like अच्छा मेरे साथ है. And I obviously didn't do anything specific. I just talked to him. I was like अच्छा मुझे बताएं आप पहले कराची आए हैं इससे पहले. What's there in Thatta? अगर मैं ठट्टा आऊंगी तो मुझे क्या दिखाएंगे? तो we talked, little bit, and मतलब we had a bookshelf for patients. तो मैंने कहा अच्छा आप ना ये book पढ़ें. I'll ask मतलब आप इतने pages पढ़ लें, मैं कल आऊंगी, then we'll discuss. Obviously we had limited time with each other, मेरी 6 घंटे की duty में. तो मतलब there is variety, मतलब उनके इतनी थी, but like again मैं 2 दिन के बाद like I realized कि मतलब फिर भी he was not really feeling that well. So I would really like to mention and shout out some organizations. I can't remember the name right now, but we had 2 or 3 different organizations जो mental health की हमें ऑनलाइन फ्री सर्विसेज देनी थी. लाइक दे सेड कि अगर आपके पेशेंट्स को स्काइप पे, तो इन द इवनिंग इफ दे मतलब वी वुड फ्लैग द पेशेंट. जैसे अब मुझे इनका फ्लैग किया मैंने, तो आई वुड टेल माय सीनियर कि इनको मतलब अगली शिफ्ट वालों को कि मॉनिटर हिम. इफ वी फील लाइक कि ही इज नॉट, यू नो, ऑब्वियसली वी आर नॉट प्रोफेशनल थेरेपिस्ट, तो वील फ्लैग देम एंड वील हैव देम कॉल अ प्रोफेशनल थेरेपिस्ट से भी बात करवाए थे. तो आई डिड फ्लैग हिम. Yeah, see this, I honestly really loved that. Matlab,
no, I think it's a very nice approach that they've taken. I would also want to know, okay, so what was the recovery rate like, and what was the rate of people who were going into the critical stage and moving into hospitals, and how was that process like? Because hospitals mein bhi jagah kam hai na. I heard कि आगा खान में जगह बहुत कम है, and जिन्ना में बहुत कम है, and
Indus,
how was that transfer like though, for the recovery and the critical ones?
Okay, so again, as I said, चूंकि हमारे पास mild and moderate patients थे, तो I would say कि हमारे पास like 98%, 97% patients were the people जो कि recover होके घर जा रहे थे, right?
Okay,
because हमारे पास critical थे ही नहीं, majority, right? So the protocol was that कि आपके पास कोई भी patient आएगा, right? Either they would be referred from the hospital, yeah, they would walk in. You can also walk into Expo. If you have a positive report, you can just walk in कि मुझे isolate करना है, घर में जगह नहीं है, right?
Okay,
so
amazing.
We would do the right. So we would do a triage at the table. मतलब हम उसी वक्त assess करेंगे. We'll take the vitals, we'll take the history, everything, and we'll identify if they're the blue band, यानी कि asymptomatic है. We'll ask if they're मतलब pre-existing problems. So we'll see कि वरना blue band होंगे, and if we realize कि भाई ये critical हैं and they need tertiary care, so we have ambulances ready वहीं पे. Foreign we have ambulances and we transferred them to tertiary care, and in that sense चूंकि वो हमारे पास Expo से transfer होके जाते हैं, तो they get a place for sure क्योंकि letter जाता है उनको कि हम Expo से refer कर रहे हैं.
Okay, but also like, so since Expo is like a public thing for everyone, right? Anyone can just walk in with a positive report. But is so while you were there, what kind of a social dynamic did you encounter? For example, there's a lot of people who are not aware of what Expo is. Karachi mein, there's a lot of people who are corona positive who don't even know what corona is, right? And they're just sick, you know. Right. And they don't even have they don't have access to healthcare. They don't have access to getting themselves tested. Even the free testing services, there's no information. The information gap bhi hai na. Were there patients who came from backgrounds or who came from social dynamics, demographics, who did not know of their pre-existing circumstances, or who did not know if they had corona or not, who maybe thought of getting tested at Expo? And what was that sort of like? And what do you think should be done to bring more awareness about corona and about corona testing in the people who don't know about corona abhi tak? Because there is a significant proportion of that population as well.
Yep. Okay. So I'll break it down. तो पहली चीज ये कि Expo only like obviously it is running by army. तो हमारे पास army is like on all the gates you have army के people, right? Yeah. And they'll call you and then they'll let you know अगर कोई आ रहा है and all the things. तो अगर कोई ऐसा बंदा है जो walk in कर रहा है, he is not positive but he's thinking कि मैं यहाँ test करा लूँ, तो he or she would not be मतलब allowed to be entered. क्योंकि again अंदर आप आ जाते हैं तो there is a red पट्टी paint करके बना दी है. So that's a red zone. उसके beyond nobody is allowed to go unless you are a positive person or you are a healthcare professional, right?
Okay.
तो उसके पीछे ही they will let you know कि यहाँ पे आपको you need a positive report आपको करना है, ठीक है? हम उनको वहीं से ही गाइड कर देंगे कि आपको कहाँ जाना है और आप वहां से चले जाएं, ठीक है? ये तो हो गई. तो मतलब पॉजिटिव हमारे पास, चूंकि मैं अंदर हूँ रेड जोन में, मेरे पास नॉन वाले आएंगे नहीं. वो इतने बैरियर्स हैं बीच में कि मेरे पास नहीं आएगा. ठीक है, देयर इज अ प्रोटोकॉल. अच्छा, सेकेंडली अबाउट द फैक्ट कि जो तुम बोल रहे हो कि लोगों को नहीं पता, तो you're right because even मतलब in that's pretty eye opening even for me कि मैं तो कराची में रहती हूँ, right? And even though I do interact with a lot of people in government hospital sector, but चूंकि मैं third year में थी, अभी मेरा clinical शुरू हुए थे कि everything got shut down, right? तो मेरा exposure भी limited है. And I did realize कि like people even मतलब we had patients from Model Colony or Korangi, or even I had couple patients who were from Gulshan, you know, who were coming from different dynamic. फिर हमारे पास कराची से ज़्यादा तो बहुत ज़्यादा patients जो थे ना वो interior sin के थे. And interior sin वाले patients तो उनको तो बहुत ज़्यादा issue होता है कि उनको पता भी नहीं होता. तो that again comes with our job कि we had to counsel. तो मतलब I would literally make them sit down के जी बैठे हैं, मैं उनको समझाती थी कि देखें ये जो है ना आपके नाक से आपके फेफड़ों में जा रहा है। अब द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इंक्यूबेशन पीरियड ये सारे इतने कॉम्प्लिकेटेड और मेडिकल है, मतलब एक लेमैन को समझाना मुश्किल होता है, राइट? But like my tactic and they trained us, you know, you have to make sure that they know that even though they are here, they are not necessarily bedridden sick, you know, because a lot of patients, what happened was there was two extreme, right? एक वो थे, they were the kind of patients जिनको समझ में आ रहा था, you know, they were listening, but a huge population of patients जो थे ना हमारे पास, क्योंकि हमारे पास एजुकेशन नहीं है, एंड यू नो द कल्चर वी हैव के डॉक्टर्स का एक पर्सोना इतना खराब होता है, a lot of them would exploit. मतलब we had couple patient, मतलब I would not name them here, but like उन सबके नाम, मतलब हमें तो उन सबके नाम याद हो गए थे, who were so non cooperative कि भी मतलब अगर मैं उनकी मतलब मैं दूसरे दिन थी ना, आई एम गोइंग टू टेक मतलब ही इज डायबिटिक, तो वी हैव टू टेक योर डायबिटीज का इंसुलिन, मतलब आई हैव टू चेक इट एंड गिव यू इंसुलिन बिफोर ब्रेकफास्ट, दैट्स अ थिंग आई हैव टू डू, यू नो इट राइट, आप घर में लगाते हैं. He would be so non-cooperative. He would be like, आप लोग मुझे पहले खाना दें, मुझे पापे नहीं मिले थे. That is one kind. Then other kind of patient, I'm not kidding. Dude, I'm not kidding. I have time. If you have time, I'll tell you so many stories
I'm
of
so
Danish
sorry.
patients.
That's just so funny. मुझे पापे नहीं मिले थे. That's like a meme.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, no.
And that's the thing. It's the thing. That's the thing. Like if when
I'll be
I'm signing
repeating
up
that,
as a
you
doctor.
know.
Exactly. Please. I'm like, bro. And इतनी दिन, and then there will be a lot, and honestly speaking, I'm not saying कि घर जैसा सुकून मिल रहा होगा,
Yeah, of course.
But honestly speaking, considering कि हमारी government and हमारा healthcare system कैसे है, it was very organized. मतलब honestly we had like हम लोगों ने Scrabble, हम लोगों ने books के shelf रखे हुए थे, we had ludo and carom रखा हुआ था, we had TVs जो लगे हुए थे, they were able to walk around, they were able to, we had cards for them, patients.
It was very flexible for them. It seems like they really weren't treated as patients. Yeah. Nice. That's
really
amazing.
Tried, but a lot of them would like, जैसे I feel like I was talking to my friend जो वहाँ पे थी कि I don't know, because of obviously rough life, a lot of people who are from middle class background or poor background, they never get a rest, right? So it was like their vacation. So they would act, in their sense कि वो इतना आराम करें, they would be acting इतनी बदतमीजी से.
No, definitely.
मतलब they would come, मतलब मैंने उन्हें सुबह बात की, अच्छा मुझे ये कर दे, अच्छा मेरे साथ, अच्छा, and then the concept of harassment, which is everywhere, even when you're covered from top to bottom. मतलब there is not an inch of my skin that is visible. The only way you can tell I am a woman if I speak. That's the only way you can know, right?
Yeah.
And like we would be running. I can't tell you how busy we were because of the, like we were like 7 people. We had like in the middle, within 3 weeks of me working there, हमारे पास 2 halls आ चुके थे, right? There was a lot of patients. We had a lot of work at this. मतलब बहुत चल रहा होता था, right? And I would be running towards the cupboard to get something, or my doctor had said something to grab something or whatever, right? And people would be like, Doctor Saab, आज जाना ludo खेलो हमारे साथ, or you know, they'll be like,
oh my,
especially with the. And it's obviously ludo khelna is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but like there's a certain tone,
The way they were saying it and insinuating it,
I'm so sorry.
Was so weird.
No,
and
but that is,
you know, even मतलब, and especially जैसे हम लोग तो चलो, मतलब हम लोग we, and in the middle of it we realized within 2 days, मतलब my friend, she was like, we need to start calling each other doctor, like even though we were not doctor, so we would call each other doctor what XYZ. Because I realized कि जैसे nursing staff, obviously they know कि they're the nursing staff, they'll be taking the samples or they'll be doing the thing. So nursing staff से already we have so much credit, मतलब एक हमारा एक persona है, stigma है, and बच्ची बदतमीजी से बात करते हैं. And मतलब I remember कि I was walking by और वो बदतमीज बोले, ये तो मतलब उस बंदी जो वो one of the nurses who is there, she was one of the amazing people I've ever worked with. मतलब she had such amazing leadership quality and she was loud and she was able to handle everybody. And बोले यार ये दिल को मतलब XYZ person जो है, ये जो है ना बहुत बदतमीजी से बात करती है, मैं तुझसे बात नहीं कर रहा. And you know, and then like free okay tone, and I grabbed her. I was like, you need to tell him कि you are a doctor and don't talk like that. मतलब, and we would do that with each other. And in the middle, a lot of times patients did get agitated, you know, obviously they're frustrated. So it was a hard balance मतलब कि भाई उनकी feelings are valid, they are away from their home, it's stressful, especially if they are not from Karachi.
It's a very different thing. I think neither of you, neither the the medical staff nor the people who are in these situations have ever experienced such a thing, right? अब अगर डॉक्टर्स वैसे ऑपरेट करते हैं किसी पे या वैसे अपना काम करते हैं तो इट्स लाइक वन टू वन पेशेंट पे, राइट? लाइक एक mass patient situation जो होता है, I think the last time that it happened was in a war. अभी I'm watching Downton Abbey, right? And उसमें there's like season 2 में there's this whole thing about World War I, right? And how there's like so many women who go into nursing, and there's just like these swarms of men on beds, and like how they have to deal with everyone. It's quite a similar situation, honestly. Okay, a lot of these men are also then hitting on these nurses, and they're harassing these nurses, but there's still like किसी की टांग टूटी हुई है, किसी की आंख निकली हुई है, someone's hurt in some way, but like the idea of a mass collective of patients, of people gathering, and then to manage that situation, and for doctors to do that, because doctors don't really do that, right? Doctors are not trained to manage large masses of patients or people, right? Because that requires another kind of political sort of skill, right? Doctors are supposed to deal with a one-to-one situation where they deal with the anatomy of things. But I think to do this for doctors to do this today is really commendable, but also it's really difficult, right? And I think there needs to be a certain solution to this. There needs to be a certain balance, or a certain कुछ निकलना चाहिए इससे, where they can find a profession which is between medical and organizational, sort of managerial, something, right?
So there is. So it's called community medicine, or community medicine में or public health. So you can actually do masters after MBBS. A lot of people go for masters in public health. Community medicine is something we are taught, and so, but the thing is, there is a huge stigma. Like I am telling you, कि मतलब हमें वो पढ़ाते हैं, right? Community medicine. And a lot of students don't take it very seriously, because it's the kind of subject in school में होता था ना, उर्दू है, उर्दू है, like हमारी ज़बान है, like don't give a shit about it, इस तरह का attitude है. And even though I personally, मतलब मैं कुछ नहीं भी पढ़ के जाती, I always enjoy community medicine because it's very intriguing, because it differs culture to culture. So and मतलब जो तुम बात कर रहे हो कि तो I am very loud, right? Usually मतलब I am extroverted kind of person, so I do enjoy talking to a lot of people. So जो मेरे senior doctor थे, who was the team leader, he was the kind of man जो तुम बोले ना, he was not trained for all this, so he although he was amazing, but he was not as loud or whatever. तो अच्छा, what happened was कि we used to have a key for cupboard जिसमें हमारे पास सारे stocks होता था. तो कब वो चाबी within 2-3 days he realized कि भाई, क्योंकि जिस बंदे के पास चाबी होती है ना, पेशेंट्स उसके सर जाते हैं, तो वो मुझे दे देते थे, क्योंकि we would be wearing it in our neck, क्योंकि हर टाइम पे. तो I am not kidding, and this sounds very exaggerated, but I am not exaggerating when I say कि when I was walking in the hall, I'm not kidding, yaar, it was like paparazzi or TMZ के people following me. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not kidding. And it sounds so pretentious, I swear. But like, I would be walking, there would be one person.
And they would do this for the cupboard के अंदर का stock.
अच्छा, what happened was कि हम लोगों के पास रोजाना देखो again limited resources हैं, तो we would order every day कि भाई मुझे इतने मास्क चाहिए, इतने साबुन चाहिए, I need new uniform, क्योंकि हर 2 दिन बाद we would wash them or whatever, right? अच्छा, what used to happen is कि morning में ना, चूंकि अभी उनका जो staff होता था वो आता नहीं था इतनी सुबह, तो I would make a list every day, and like we would send them to, every team would have a clinical coordinator जो कि phone पे हमसे in contact होती थी, who would be outside of red zone but in the expo, who would be communicating all the things जो हमें चाहिए, हम उनको phone करके बोलेंगे, she'll arrange it for us, right? मैं अपनी डॉक्टर जो क्लिनिकल कोऑर्डिनेटर से कॉन्स्टेंटली आई वुड हैव अ फोन इन माय हैंड कि भाई ये चीजें, शी वुड आस्क मी टू मेक लिस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग. तो आई हैड द की मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, और कपल अदर फ्रेंड्स जो कि मेरे ही मतलब लेवल पे थे, तो वन मतलब अनदर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, अब मैं होंगी ना, आई वुड गो नियर बाय टू सी कि भाई चाय की पत्ती है या नहीं, राइट? आई वुड नियर बाय, मैं पत्ती होंगी ना, दूर से बंदा, एक्सपो के हॉल है प्रिटी लार्ज, मैं अभी एक कॉर्नर पे, दूसरी तरफ से बंदा आ जाएगा, आपने मुझे वो नहीं दिया, मुझे कल वो नहीं मिला था. अब आई हैव नो वे टू चेक इन बैलेंस, बिकॉज आई एम सो बिजी, बिकॉज मैं इतनी ज्यादा बिजी हूँ कि मैं 7 लोग हैं, तो हम लोग हर वक्त बिजी होते थे. फोन वुड बी रिंगिंग, वी वुड हैव टू गेट लैब्स, कोई नया पेशेंट आ रहा है, वी वुड हैव टू टेक वाइटल्स, वी वुड हैव टू एंटर, क्योंकि देयर वाज नो पेपर पॉलिसी, तो वी हैड टू एंटर एवरीथिंग ऑन कंप्यूटर, ताकि बाहर जो डाटा जाना है, एंड देयर वाज लाइक सैम्पलिंग होनी है, देयर इज लाइक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, एंड इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आई कांट टेल यू, Okay. The biggest problem of my life while working, you would think, कोई medical चीज होगी, but biggest problem I had was distribution of nashta. So HCAs were supposed to handle the nashta distribution. The very first day we go, there is an orange zone. वहाँ पे बाहर से they leave the मतलब खाना, and then they call you कि भाई आप आके ले जाए, because there's a transition zone. They close the door, they
Yeah.
disinfect and everything, right? क्योंकि red
Hmm.
zone में nobody else is allowed to come in. अच्छा, we get a call. My senior doctor tells me, अब मैं पहले दिन हूँ अभी, I have just taken vitals while being blind. I'm like, okay, 9 बज गए, 9 बजे नाश्ता आता है. He tells me कि जाओ वहाँ पे orange zone है, you go and get it, right? And then we'll distribute. अब I go with another HCA friend of mine whose first day is also with me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we go there. अब we can't see. We are literally आंखें इतने मेरे करीब है आंखों के कि ये क्या है? I can't see anything. Then we
Yeah.
get a nurse. She had worked a week before, so she was more familiar with it. तो शी इज लाइक, ओके ये जो ना वो डबल रोटी के पैकेट है और अंडा है, लाइक यू हैव टू गिव ईच, राइट? अच्छा, अब वी टेक इन, आई एम लाइक ओके, हम लोग लेके जाएंगे, आई एम गोना डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कि क्या कौन कर रहा है, एंड चाय देनी है सुबह के नाश्ते में. अगेन इट्स नॉट सरप्राइजिंग, आई शुड हैव थॉट ऑफ इट. मैं एंटर हुई हूँ ट्रॉली लेके, एंड पीपल स्टार्टेड सराउंडिंग मी, ऐसे जैसे पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है, राइट? एंड अभी तक के आधे से ज्यादा लोग सो रहे थे. हम लोग कहाँ से उठ के आ गए, अभी तक तो सब सो रहे थे. व्हाट? And I am very short, right? I mean, I'm sitting, but I'm pretty short. So you can imagine कि predominantly tall, average पे 5 foot 5 6 तक के एक average men are surrounding me and my friend, and we have no idea. We're trying to मतलब push through the trolley के एक जगह side पे लेके जाए, and they're like, I'm like, okay, line बनाए. अच्छा, अब issue was कि we had N95, even though I'm very loud, उसमें आवाज muffle हो जाती है.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell them कि जी line बनाए, but they're like, अच्छा पहला दिन है, that मतलब I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of things happening at the same time. Phones ringing पीछे, doctors asking me to do something. खैर, and eventually we're like, okay, मैंने अब एक बंदा आता है, उसने कहा बाजी आप पहले दिन आइए, ये ऐसे ही होता है, आप हमें दे दें, फिर हमें नहीं मिलता, फिर जो लोग होंगे ना उनकी लाइन बना ले. अच्छा, we start distributing. It was a horrible, I mean, I wouldn't want that again. So we eventually started, मतलब है eventually होता है. अब what happened was कि you know how people, अब मेरे पास दो आ रहे हैं, हमें मिला नहीं. I have no way to prove कि उन्होंने पहले नहीं लिया, because I can't
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I can't recognize, or even if I can't see, I can see, मतलब 100 से ज्यादा लोग हैं, I can't remember किस किसको दिया है मैंने.
Yeah. Yeah.
अच्छा,
Yeah.
अब तो बहुत सारे लोग डबल आके ले गए. I suspected, but like it was happening all so fast. I was like, क्या हो रहा है? तो बहुत सारे लोगों को नहीं मिला, right? पहले दिन. And we had to call. Achha, ab on the other hand, there are like 2 other people who are on the machine for tea. So they're sitting, they're there कि जो है ना मतलब वो निकालने, अब चीनी नहीं है. अब जो रात वाले लोग थे, they probably forgot to order चीनी. That's what you do in cupboard, you check it, right? अब I don't know कि क्या हुआ. अब हमारा पहले दिन है, I didn't know कि चीनी ऐसे नहीं आएगी. I was expecting कि उसी में आएगी.
But
But like
see,
चीनी, दूध.
the interesting part in
हाँ.
all of what you're saying is that a lot of people would expect that isolation centers में, you know, आप हर वक्त बस like chemicals मिला रहे हो, and like you're like
Exactly.
poking needles and like giving medicine. But then this is like proper, like, you know, home situation management वाले task
This
है.
is
And
like
like,
management. Like you
and
have to learn how to mob control.
I'm interested. We're leading towards the end of our podcast, and one of my last questions would be, in medical school, now, okay, try to get this. In medical school, a lot of the students who come in are primarily from well-established or well-to-do families who have had the prior education from intermediate or A-levels or Akhan board or whatever else, who are able to pay for and who are able to, you know, sort of get into medical school and study that. And there's a certain level of social class and social mobility there, right? But so when you're saying that there were people who were saying that Baji mujhe ye nahi mila, Baji mujhe wo nahi mila, so there's a certain class demographic that is being dealt with here, right? A lot of these students who go on to become doctors often work in private hospitals, or even if they work in public hospitals, which is rare, I suppose, is when they deal with people who are fond of hospitals and who sort of, even the patients who come in, like if you are in a corona isolation center, you won't be, you know, behaving like a certain demographic, right?
Yeah.
So in medical school, do they teach you how to deal with different class distinctions, different not only cultures and ethnicities, but also the class aspect is really important, right? Because agar there's a there's a homeless person, right? अव्वल तो ये तो पूरा पाकिस्तान का दुनिया का इंस्टीट्यूशन मसला है कि होमलेस पीपल को हॉस्पिटल तक पहुंचाने के लिए रिसोर्सेज नहीं होते. But for example, if there's a homeless person who comes to the public hospital and who has a certain way of behaving, who doesn't know about the protocols, right? It's not their fault, right? They don't know about the protocols. They don't know about who to go to. They don't know about what to do. They don't expect कि मुझे खाना मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, रोटी मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी, syringe लगाएंगे तो क्या कैसा feel होगा, all of that, right? And that's it sounds quite familiar in what you're telling. The kinds of people who come in, right? They don't really know because perhaps they've never been to a hospital, they've never been treated by a doctor before. They don't know, right? So they don't know what to expect of you. So I just want to know, do they teach you certain things about this whole situation in medical school, or do they just or is it just like another perpetuation kind of thing, just treat delete type thing?
Okay.
I don't know.
I get what you mean. अच्छा, so again I'll talk about from my experience कि मैं चूँकि government university में, तो my affiliated hospital is government, right?
Yeah.
मतलब I go work with at JPMC or Jinnah Medical Hospital, right? Or NICH or NICVD, right? So that's like one of the leading tertiary hospital जहाँ पे आपको बहुत ज़्यादा bulk मिलेगा patient का जो कि from underprivileged background आ रहे हैं. तो even though मतलब हमें सिखाया जाता है थोड़ा बहुत, मतलब I have friends who are in private university, मैं जब उनसे बात करती हूँ तो I do realize a certain aspect कि हम लोगों की training थोड़ी सी different होती है, in the sense, for example, मतलब from third year, even with a lot of lackings जो कि हमारे यहाँ government universities में होती हैं and everything, we are really being taught शुरू से कि हमारे मतलब we need to learn how to diagnose based on a very good history and do the minimum testing. बिकॉज हमारे पास जो पेशेंट आएंगे, अगर मैं उनको 5 टेस्ट लिख के दूंगी 1,000 के, वो मेरे पास पलट के ही नहीं आएगा कभी भी. एंड दैट्स नॉट व्हाई व्हाट वी वांट. तो हमारे यहाँ जो मतलब व्हाट वी डू इज कि हमारे जो टेस्ट लिखते हैं ना, वी राइट 1 से 2 मिनिमम टेस्ट जो कि सिर्फ कॉन्फर्मेशन के लिए होते हैं. जस्ट मतलब ऐसा नहीं है, बिकॉज इफ यू गो टू अ प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल, जो प्रोटोकॉल होता है उसमें तो मेरा सारा ब्लड वर्कअप होगा, एवरीथिंग होगी, इवन इफ इट इज नॉट related, right? So in that aspect थोड़ी बहुत ट्रेनिंग होती है because we are dealing with तो हम लोगों को कॉस्ट का डेफिनेटली बहुत ज्यादा, मतलब थ्रू आउट द लेक्चर्स द डॉक्टर्स एंड टीचर्स हु आर टीचिंग अस, दे बी टेलिंग अस कि ये the concept of counseling, the little bit I've seen, क्योंकि again मैंने अभी third year शुरू किया था और सब entire thing were shut down. So the little bit I've seen is कि there's the two thing, मतलब generally speaking इतनी ट्रेनिंग नहीं है जितनी होनी चाहिए. And I do really think कि पाकिस्तान में हमारे empathy पे focus नहीं होता. मतलब उन्होंने एक्सपो में हमें ट्रेन किया था specifically, क्योंकि that is majorly run by आगा खान and ज़ियाउद्दीन की जो डॉक्टर्स है मैनेजमेंट में, and they said कि पाकिस्तान में नहीं होती empathy. So they had a whole session on this हमारे लिए कि आपने किस तरह बात करनी है, and hence the mental health training. I don't think कि अभी तक के मुझे ये वहाँ मिली है overall as a part of course, right? Course के अंदर नहीं है outline, even though it should be, I think. But as you start going to hospital, you start working with different kinds of doctor, and you do see कि there are a lot of dedicated doctors जो कि बहुत मतलब जिनकी दम से चल रहा है. Otherwise तो you and I both know कि system कोई नहीं है. चल उन्हीं लोगों पे रह जो खुद से बहुत selflessly काम करते हैं.
There's this problem where it feels it's very unfortunate, but it feels like even the medical field, even the healthcare ka sara department, which is supposed to be public, which is supposed to be publicly available, right, is super duper capitalized. Itna zyada ki it's the mechanism, the methodology, the structure that is employed is also very capitalistic, in the sense that target patient jaisa dhoondna hai, right? So if a person is going to a private medical school, they're subconsciously sort of it's ingrained that there's a certain target patient that you will encounter, right? A patient who will come in a car, a patient who will, if you prescribe like lakhon ke test, they will do it and they will come back to you, and a patient who is designed to be treated by you, right? And then the same thing in Jinnah, right? In public hospitals, there is a target patient. I really am interested in politics, and I'm interested in theory and in human behavior, right? And the kinds of there are these there seems to be a pattern of a kind of way that um, the underprivileged class is left underprivileged because of some of these tactics as well. Because there's an expectation, okay, they will be underprivileged, so you have to treat them like the underprivileged, right? Instead of bettering your mechanisms, instead of getting the equipment, instead of getting the buildings, getting the structures, to be able to, you know, acquire those tests जो आगा खान में होते हैं या wherever else, you're sort of teaching के okay, so yeah, as I was saying कि healthcare में एक तो system already इतना messed up है, right? It's completely there is no sense of organization, there is no sense of cohesion, there is no sense of like things to do, and again the whole like capitalistic nature of things, you have to tend to a certain kind of patient, and as you said कि एक private hospital में you know हर test करवाएंगे बेशक whatever it costs and whatever, but a public hospital में you'll only you know you'll worry about the cost because obviously the reason that you're worrying about the cost for the patient is because facilities nahi hai, right? The patient cannot go to a public hospital and get those tests done, which are necessary, right? Either ways. So there's this gap, right? Really, where it seems like a very deliberate structural gap where the patient is not even afforded the opportunity to get tested because there's no equipment. I mean, I'm sure they can muster up enough budget to get equipment in public hospitals, right? Abhi budget pass hua hai, and it's absolutely absurd how healthcare has again gotten such little money, whereas in this time it should get the most of the budget, right? The primary part of the budget healthcare pe spend hona chahiye. But it really sucks that the foundations of our healthcare systems are so weak that we're unable to cater to patients as patients, and but the healthcare system looks at the patients as commodities, right? They look at the patients as consumers, you know. Whereas that is such a violent it's you know it's not even expressible how violent that is, you know, at its core. That very imagination of a patient as a commodity, as a consumer of your goods, of your, you know, you're approaching health. I mean, the state needs to do something. The state needs to it's the state's responsibility to keep the patient, keep its citizens alive, right? And the kind of, and but then also you as a student can relate to this, right? In there's a gap in the education system, the education that is provided by the state versus the education that is provided by private institutions, right? Again, as you said, empathy की classes नहीं होती, right? जो खाना ज़ियाउद्दीन वालों ने बताई थी कि you know empathy के होने चाहिए ये वो. It seems like even empathy is like a thing that is awarded to the privileged, right? Empathy is something that is for free. Like it's not, empathy doesn't even require, you know, a machinery. It's insane to think about. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so to answer a lot of questions, I do agree कि state जो है, मतलब एक तो एक और मतलब मेजर इशू ये है कि एक तो बजट ही नहीं है, राइट? हमारे पास होता ही नहीं, फिर जो आता है ना बजट वो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट सही होता है, बिकॉज अगेन लाइक एनी अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और व्हाटएवर, you need a structure in the forms of steps, right? So there should be basic healthcare units and then districts में, तहसील में, जहाँ पे मतलब मेरे पास जब मैं एक NICH which is the children hospital which is the largest children hospital in entire Pakistan, जब मैं मतलब I started working there, मैं immediately internship अभी last year, so I was doing OPD, right? That's my second week ever being in hospital, and I'm being in OPD with like extreme busy OPD in a government hospital. मेरे पास पेशेंट आ रहा है कोल्ड के लिए भी. अ पेशेंट फ्रॉम कोरंगी और कोई दूर दूर से शुड नॉट बी कमिंग टू टर्शियरी केयर हॉस्पिटल, क्योंकि मतलब डॉक्टर्स ऑलरेडी ओवरबर्डन है. मतलब आई डोंट नीड टू, क्योंकि टर्शियरी केयर का मकसद ये है कि इट शुड ट्रीट द थिंग्स जो कि मैं एक बेसिक
critically
हेल्थ केयर
ill,
यूनिट में
yeah,
क्लिनिक में नहीं कर सकती.
yeah,
अब हमारे पास डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है, एज यू सेड इंटीरियर सिंध में, बलूचिस्तान में, मतलब हमारे पास इतने पेशेंट आते हैं बलूचिस्तान इंटीरियर से, मतलब टीबी है, वैक्सीनेशन नहीं होती. अब वैक्सीनेशन सेंटर्स आप बनाए ना, वैक्सीनेशन सेंटर्स होने चाहिए एंड इम्प्लीमेंट होने चाहिए हमारे पास. मतलब आई कांट बिलीव लाइक इट, एंड इट्स द काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि अगर कोई वेस्टर्न कंट्री में होगा, देयर द काइंड ऑफ केसेस जो कि मतलब वो बुक्स में पढ़ेंगे, एंड आई सॉ देम इन 2 weeks. मतलब देयर इज दिस थिंग कॉल्ड काली खांसी, परट्यूसिस, राइट,
yeah,
जिसका हमें बचपन में वैक्सीनेशन लगती है. तो आई हैड
yeah,
नेवर सीन इट अगेन बिकॉज प्रिविलेज. मैं जिस सर्कल में
हाँ,
घूमती हूँ, एवरीबॉडी इज
yeah, yeah,
वैक्सीनेटेड.
yeah,
I had never seen it. अब मैं गई हूँ तो आई एम नॉट किडिंग इट. मतलब वो बच्चा, एंड इट्स रियली सीवियर, उसकी मतलब खांसी इतनी ज्यादा होती है कि अगर, एंड इट्स वेरी कंटेजियस. तो अगर आप इतना खांसते हैं कि योर आर्टरीज, मतलब जो ब्लड वेसल्स होती हैं वो बर्स्ट हो जाती है. तो मैं जब गई हूँ एंटर में, आई सी अ किड, उसकी आंखों में खून है, एंड आई एम लाइक व्हाट. मतलब this,
oh
it
my,
feels like a bookish picture or the kind of thing you'll see in a movie, but that's the kind of things we see very commonly in a government hospital. And part of the reason why people want to work in
that's
a
so
government
true,
hospital is
that's
because
so true, yeah, government
also
hospitals
that's a
are,
very
yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
horrible thing to say. मतलब it's a horrible thing to say कि people want to work in government hospital because उसको बोलते क्या exposure है, which is a horrible thing because you're learning based on the fact
yeah,
कि आवाम के
facilities
पास
नहीं है,
वो available
yeah,
facility नहीं है.
yeah,
तो
yeah,
we
yeah,
get to learn as a doctor. मतलब as a medical student it's very exciting for me. मतलब I love going to OPDs. मतलब मेरे पास जो cases आते हैं, मतलब मैं एक private hospital में कभी नहीं देखूंगी. And it's very exciting for me, and part of the reason I really do enjoy what I do. But
but then
it's
that's the
not
thing,
fair,
na, they're
right?
not, yeah, it's not fair, people are losing lives. Okay, okay, we'll end this at the story. I have the small story. I last year, was it last year? No, it was this winters that I got my wisdom tooth removed, right? So I got my wisdom
Mm-hmm.
tooth removed from this private hospital, right? And they gave me, जब आपका wisdom tooth remove होता है तो उसके बाद like they give you like एक week के लिए, and it was like surgically removed, right? तो बहुत ज़्यादा खून था, and like it was like it wasn't just pulled out, it was like broken out. It hurt a lot. It was like a 2-hour surgery, and
Ooh.
it was really bad. It hurt a lot. I got stitches, but तो उसके बाद they gave me a bunch of क्या बोलते हैं यार उन्हें, there are these bottles, these drips that I had to get myself with, right? मुझे ड्रिपें चढ़नी थी basically 3-4, and injections लगनी थी रोज for like 3-4 days, and now I couldn't go back to the clinic every day, right? Because it was a little far away. I live very close to the civil hospital, which is a government hospital, and so I went there. Okay, I was like, let's go. I have not been to the civil hospital many times, but abhi when I went, I was startled, seriously, to see okay, there's this one big hall with a bunch of beds, all shattered, broken, torn. There's multiple families crying, right? There's families crying all the time because someone's dying at all times, right? I find
Mm-hmm.
I ask a young doctor-looking person who apparently was a fresh graduate or a final year student, um, and I asked him, "Ke idhar, where do I go?" Because nobody knows, right? It's such chaos. There's nobody, right? Nobody cares. Nobody knows. I find a bed, I lie down, and I ask someone at the dispensary to like, "Mujhe drip chada do," right? Um, so that student comes in, and I am afraid. So I ask him, "Is this syringe new? Like, are you sure?" you know, and he's like, "Nahi used it." And I freak out, and he was like, "I'm kidding," but I get injected and everything, and I look to my left, and on the bed beside me, literally on the bed beside me, an old uncle died. Literally, like straight up. Matlab, I was in a state of shock, in a comic shock. कि क्या हुआ ये मेरे साथ? I look to the left and an uncle is just dead there while I'm getting my syringe.
Yeah,
What is the state of this hospital? And this is the story
exactly.
everywhere. It's not just this one hospital. What what it's like एक it's like a a butcher's den. It's like as if
It is. It's like, do you
It's
remember that scene
insane.
in Hunger Games? Hunger Games में और Harry Potter में
Yeah,
after the
people are
war,
just dying
everybody's
and
in the Great Hall
yeah,
and everybody's just there. It exactly. And the issue is कि अब होता क्या है कि चूंकि doctor is the middleman, क्योंकि you are the
yeah,
one who's handling,
yeah,
उसको सुनती है, मतलब वो जो है मैनेजमेंट की भी सुनता है और पेशेंट की भी सुनता है, राइट? तो अब पेशेंट अपना गुस्सा, जाहिर है मैनेजमेंट से तो एक्सेस नहीं है, तो ही और शी
yeah,
विल टेक इट आउट ऑन मी. मतलब आज एनआईसीवीडी में अब डॉक्टर गॉट शॉट, ही इज अ सीनियर ऑफ माइन,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
क्योंकि उसको वो सोने की गोलियों की दवा नहीं दे रहा था. अब अगेन मतलब वो इतना गैप है, तो मैनेजमेंट जो है ना, दैट नीड्स टू बी, मतलब
So like
मैनेजमेंट, एंड दिस इज
we really need to put out this message कि, as you were saying, कि management really सही करो, right? Management and
मैनेजमेंट सही करो.
yeah.
ऑल्सो कि जो पब्लिक हेल्थ और जो डिग्रीज है ना, इन पे मतलब होना चाहिए. यू नो हाउ देयर इट इज कि मेडिसिन एक सुपीरियर फील्ड है अपार्ट
Yeah,
फ्रॉम अदर. व्हेन यू गो इन मेडिसिन यू रियलाइज, ओ इसमें भी बहुत सारी business है, right? And
yeah,
people don't want to go in public health or whatever because it's the easy one. हालांकि इतना important job है, क्योंकि what
yeah,
happens is कि doctors वगैरह खुद they don't go in that field because they are not motivated, they don't get paid, there is no a lot of incentive to go. So what happens is कि जो non-medical doctor people and they come in, a doctor can understand how should a hospital work, a patient's need. मतलब ये
yeah,
क्योंकि मेरी बेसिक इन्फॉर्मेशन, एक बंदा जो यू नो मे बी इज अ कंप्यूटर साइंस बैकग्राउंड और वट एवर बैकग्राउंड दैट इज नॉट मेडिकल, उनकी अप्रोच डिफरेंट होगी. दे विल बी हैंडलिंग इट लाइक अ बिजनेस, नॉट लाइक फ्रॉम अ
yeah,
पेशेंट्स
yeah,
पर्सपेक्टिव.
yeah,
तो दैट क्रिएट्स अ लॉट ऑफ इशू. और फिर मैनेजमेंट में इशू आते हैं. ये
yeah.
चीज तो यहाँ पे भी हम देख रहे थे. इवन मतलब जैसे एक्सपो में, क्योंकि चूंकि it is run under army, right? So whenever meetings would happen, we were not going, but our senior doctors were going, and
Yeah.
he or she would be telling us
Still a
how
sense
the
of
different
organization.
approach of army is different because they're trained in a very different way. They're
Yeah,
trained to fight on the borders. Obviously, this is
yeah,
not their thing. तो अब वो हम उन्हें बता रहे हैं कि जी ये पेशेंट इशू कर रहे हैं, हमें मेगाफोन्स चाहिए, राइट? वी नीड मेगाफोन्स बिकॉज वो हमसे मॉब कंट्रोल नहीं हो रहा है. हर मासेज और मास्क जो है वो हमसे हमारी आवाज मफल कर रहे हैं. दिस पेशेंट इज नॉट डूइंग दैट, एंड ही और शी वुड बी लाइक आप लोग हैंडल करें ना, चिल्लाएं. एंड वी आर लाइक कि भाई ये बंदा
हम
है,
लोग हैंडल करना
a
चिल्लाएं.
person. मतलब यू नो उनका अप्रोच होती है कि डंडे पे, नो. अब
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
आई एज अ मेडिकल स्टूडेंट और एज अ डॉक्टर, मतलब मैं तो ये कहूंगी ना भाई, हर पर्सन अलग है. आई कैन, मतलब मैं तो उस बंदे को देख रही हूँ, आई कैन डू दैट. मैं डंडे की जोर पे थोड़ी ना मतलब ये करूंगी. इट्स जस्ट द स्मॉल थिंग्स. तो ये तो इतनी छोटी सी एग्जांपल थी, राइट? बट दैट हैपेंस ऑन अ लार्जर स्केल पाकिस्तान में तो हर टाइम, राइट? तो
मतलब like
दैट क्रिएट्स सच
that's
एन इशू.
yeah, and like I think this really needs to be in conversation, in more political conversations, right? And I think so we'll end on this note. Okay, we need to create a more politically aware healthcare system, one that is built on empathy and on structural integrity and on organizational value, right? Where doctors are trained appropriately, where facilities are provided in accordance with the kind of issues that a community is facing. And as you said, there needs to be a systematic sort of renewal of a healthcare system, right? Cold के patients directly tertiary care में ना आए. There needs to be a community health center and then a secondary center and whatever else, right?
Yep.
But
I agree.
so yeah, I think we've discussed a lot about the politics of medicine, about what a student's perspective is, what a student who's working in Corona isolation center. We've covered a whole range of topics. So thank you so much, Urooj Usmani, and we have been honored to have you. Urooj was, by the way, Urooj was one of the first people to tell me that like my podcast is lit. So,
it is. मतलब I still think.
It feels amazing.
I love your podcast because you have a
Thank you.
personality. You make a good connection. You know, it feels like कि मैं घर में बैठ के अपने दोस्त से बात कर रही हूँ.
Thank you so much.
सारे
Thank you
पैसे
so
connection
much.
के.
सारे पैसे connection is कोई पैसा नहीं है. We don't make any money. But no, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for taking out the time. And for both of us, we present you our paintings. I call her
Yup,
Rakhi.
yup.
And there's
Oh, I
Urooj's.
am.
You haven't named your painting yet.
Yeah, I have like multiple things on my walls that I
I
specifically sat here. Yeah.
I sleep at night and I look at her just like staring at me, and I'm just like, are we having a staring contest? I look at you. It haunts me some nights, but like it's fun. But khair,
Yeah.
so this was the Literacy Society Ka podcast, and we had Urooj Usmani as our guest, and we'll be linking
Thank
down
you
a
for
bunch of
inviting
stuff.
me.
We'll be linking down a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
stuff that Urooj just talked about, and some donations that you can donate to some free healthcare facilities, some helplines. And yeah, if you like our podcast, if you like the discussion, if you would like to come on the podcast, or if you would have any suggestion on what topic we should cover in the next podcast, please drop a comment below, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening.